Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. Today, topic yang hangat, very hot topic when it comes to this. What do you do with profits yang haram? Pedas, very hot. Those of you who have invested in non-Shariah compliant, non-halal, or pendek kata haram investments, then what do you do with the profit?
Make sure you don't use it for eating. Nanti makan haram.
Aku beli mainan okey lah.
Long story short, the magic word today is purification. Purification. So when we teach investing classes and all that, we also have to acknowledge that prior to knowing about what's halal and what's haram, right? Dulu tak tahu tak dosa. But now that you know, and if you have investments which are non-compliant, haram, and you already have some profit, then you know that eating that profit, literally consuming that profit, is haram. What must we do? The word is, say it with me, guys.
Purify.
Purify, right? You have to purify your investments. How? Okay. So first off, I want to cover what is purification. Very simple. Purification is the act of removing tainted profits or wealth from your investments or your wealth. That's it. That's purification. Okay? That's the simplest definition I have. So I tell you what. You both have invested before, right? Maybe in some non-halal, maybe non-compliant, maybe haram investments. And you make some money. And I have done that many times prior to my career in Islamic Finance. And any profits that I make above whatever I've initially invested, that part very important, those profits must be purified. But what if I make a loss? Do I need to purify?
Yeah, I was about to ask that because I made a loss.
Same, I made a loss.
See, haram loss. Haram terus loss. No. Okay. Long story short, if you have haram investments and you make a loss, no need to purify. You only purify profits. And that includes dividends. So, for example, if today you invest $10,000, naik turun, gerbuk, you see the value of your initial investment from $10,000 drop to $8,000. That's a 20% loss. Including your dividends, you're allowed to take back everything without purification. So initial invested capital, you can take back. Done.
What happens for the Muslims who, they've already invested for 10 or 20 years? Then their plan was maybe they're going to retire soon.
That one is a topic of Darura, which I will cover later in this episode.
Okay, I got one question. So let's say if I were to invest, let's say in ILP, then after that, after finding out that it's not permissible, I wish to cash out. So, but I don't earn. It's below the sum, the money that I invested. But the amount of money I invested is more after 1 year is above the amount of zakat. Do I still need to zakat since I don't have to purify?
Okay. Short answer, yes. Long answer, yes. Okay, if the amount, we will cover zakat on another episode, but the short answer for zakatable assets is if you are in control of the money, that means you hit your surrender value and an ILP, then you need to pay zakat. Okay, but in this case, if you already surrendered the ILP and you are in a loss compared to all the premiums you have initially paid, you can take back everything up to the total amount you've paid. And if that amount, of course, is zakatable, is now in your control, then you pay zakat. Okay, so that's even longer answer.
If let's say you have a profit of maybe like 4,000 and it's above the zakat, when you purify the wealth for 4,000, and if your amount, let's say zakat need to be 2,000, the 2,000 comes from your purified wealth or the one that's haram?
Zakat after you purify. So if I start with 10,000, total 10,000, I need to purify 2,000. I take away 2,000, purify first. Balance 8,000. Do I need to pay zakat as of this moment?
No, now it's 9,000 plus.
1,000 plus already.
Yeah, now 9,000 already.
Correct. Nisab is now over $9,000, so you don't need to pay zakat because it's above Nisab. But if it's above Nisab, then you pay. But you must fulfill your calendar year. So you must complete your howl first, your 12 months. So okay, and zakat, another episode. Zakat, another episode. We're going to go zakat, another episode. Because zakat on investments can be a little bit more complicated. So another episode. Let's go back to purification. Okay, so just to recap very easily, if you've invested in something non-compliant, non-halal, haram, you are allowed to take back your initial capital. Anything above that must be purified. Clear? Okay. So what to purify? Anything that you got value. So you have to purify your stocks and shares. You have to purify your unit trust. You purify ILP. Okay? You purify even your digital asset, your cryptocurrencies. Do you need to purify gold?
That's the thing I was thinking. Is it haram gold?
Is there haram gold? Have. Haram gold have. Halal gold is physical or gold backed. Like a gold backed ETF, like the spider gold shares, those are gold backed and those are Shariah compliant. Okay, no need to purify. But if you use a synthetic ETF, which is a derivative, haram lah. So that one must purify. Alright? Alright. So those of you who are listening and watching, what other asset classes do you think you have that you must purify? Okay, because one question somebody asked, then like that I buy a house, but the house I take loan, then I got profit, but the loan is haram. Then how? What do you think, gentlemen?
Sell the house. Then after that, set up thing at Changi.
What? So this one, we answer another day, okay? Because the house itself, the asset itself is non-halal. Is compliant. House what? Right? House mana ada haram unless it's a pub. Unless it's a pub. But the house itself is a compliant asset. So it's fine. Right? Then the question is, if you had used leverage, you had used financing, you had to borrow money to invest in something, does it make the investment halal? Does it make it haram? Because can you buy halal stocks, but you buy halal stocks on margin? Right?
Yep.
Because technically, margin trading, taking leverage, financing, all this, haram. Because you makan riba, what? So, for what I understand from having multiple conversations with multiple scholars is, because of the act of leveraging, you're technically borrowing money to invest, that one haram. Even though the asset class is halal. So, to go back to the house example, then how?
The whole investment is already haram.
Say again?
So, the whole investment is considered haram.
Yeah lah, except your initial capital.
Yeah, how you know if your ILP is doing leveraging or margin?
ILP won't have.
Yeah.
So, by borrowing money to trade, haram. So that one, whatever capital you put up, you can take back. But whatever profits, even though you trade on something halal, because of the very act of leveraging and financing, you're borrowing money to invest, that one considered haram lah. Okay, for housing, this one, I leave it to the scholars. Because some people will say halal, some people say haram. I don't know. But let's talk about purification for the average person. Okay, for many folks, you would have stocks, shares, unit trusts, ETFs. You would have ILP, very, very common. Especially if the ILP is invested in non-Shariah compliant unit trusts. Confirm must purify. So these are the different types of things that you need to purify. Even gold, even your bank account. Your bank account gives you interest. Interest, if it's a non-Islamic bank account, the interest in your bank account, that every month you see your interest credited, end of the year, you must take out everything and go purify. How like that? So now the question is why you must purify?
Barakah.
Barakah? Oh, that's one. Alhamdulillah, yes. Lagi?
Hell got no aircon.
Go.
Panas.
Neraka panas. Neraka panas. Well, the why very straightforward lah, from a religious perspective lah, right? Us as Muslims, we cannot consume what is haram. Right? In our investing class, we cover haram industries, like for example, gambling, alcohol, pork, and there's plenty more. Again, not for today's conversation. But we are clear that we cannot consume things that are haram. And so profits from haram investments must be purified. Straightforward. Then those people who say, oh, aku dah invest dah lama, it's been so long. You don't know, you tak dosa. But now that you know, gang.
Will be cursing and swearing at us.
How. Okay, So now to answer the burning question, everybody have, yeah, but then what about, I'm retiring tomorrow. You know, my whole life I've bought haram insurance endowment plan, haram ILP. I buy haram stock. I buy all haram. Tomorrow I retire. Then how? So, the scholar view on this, you pernah dengar Darura? Yes, Darura. So imagine you all are stuck on a desert island, right? You're dying of hunger, and then a little oink oink comes along, oink. You catch the oink oink, right? You sembleh the oink oink, and then you make satay, and then you make teriyaki or best makan barbecue, bro.
Dunia darurat ekstrim tu.
Do you
Go
eat?
fishing, right?
Do you eat sampai you kenyang? Oh, bestnya. Or do you eat just enough?
That's enough.
See, here's the thing. Darura means necessity. So just enough. So therefore, for that, if that particular case study, that retiree says, hey, if I lose all of this, I cannot afford to retire. It forms a huge burden on the retiree. Then, on the basis of Darura, he's allowed to consume up to a certain point, up to necessity. If he say, no, it's necessity for me to go around the world trip, go on an 80-day cruise, wow, enjoy. I don't know lah, because this one you answer to Allah at the end of the day, not me. I just give you advice. Yes. So then, to add on to Darura, what if they speak to us and we say, we based on our calculations, if you spend $5,000 a month and that's $60,000 a year, and today you're 65, you're forecasted to live until 95, 30 years of retirement. So 60 times 30 is how much?
180.
60 times 30? 1.8
1,000.
Let's say, is it 1.8 million? 1.8 million. So okay lah, I need $1.8 million to live for the next 30 years at $5,000 a month. My portfolio today, $3 million. I got excess 1.2 million. And there are people like that, by the way. I've met plenty like that. From Darura perspective, he's allowed to take 1.8 million and say, okay, I live for the next 30 years. Yes? Then the balance 1.2? Nak donate? Okay, bro, donate. Okay.
Buy a yacht.
Buy a yacht. Buy a yacht, then I donate it to the orphan. But I drive. No, okay. So, second term that we learned is tadarruj. Tadarruj, which is a term that allows you to hold on to the non-compliant haram wealth until clarity is achieved. So Darura says 1.8 million, example. Anything above that, I'm not sure. Because we know inflation is real. Cost of living go up. I don't know if I fall sick. I don't know if I need that money. The retirees actually said, okay, I will remove this side. I put it one side first. I hold on to it until I know I am clear, I have clarity that I do not require this balance money. That is tadarruj. So for those of us out there who are thinking, yeah, I invest already, then profit burn, susah, I don't know, cannot, Darura, all Darura, I keep Darura.
A quick question. So when you take away the 1.2 for tadarruj, right? It's within your control. So if it covers one hole, it's more than 9,000. Is it zakatable?
Zakat lah, it's still your asset, right? So zakat, another episode. Again, another episode. Right? But here's the thing, when you look at the Darura principle, when we talk about necessity, and we talk about the word burden, does it form a burden on you? From a professional financial planning perspective, it's very straightforward. How difficult is it for you to replace this money? Is it? if say, for example, in the earlier example, the retiree, I'm retiring tomorrow, I'm 65, I cannot work anymore, I'm going to stop working already. I lose this money, I cannot retire, die. That is heavy burden. It's very difficult for him to replace that income. But if you're in your 20s, in your 30s, and yeah, I've seen people buy ILP, they pump in 10, 20, 30,000 only to surrender and lose everything because it's all haram and they lose the surrender charges and all that. Yes, but they're only 20 to 30 years old. So the question is, how difficult is it to replace that income, to replace that wealth? If touch your heart, this one subjective, you and God. You touch your heart, you say, okay, $30,000, I earn $30,000 a year, right? I just save a little bit more over the next 5 years, I can replace because my earning potential is still very, very long. I'm only 20, 30. Even 40 also, I would suggest you have a good 20 years of earning potential. So if it's not difficult for you to replace that purified wealth, by all means purify. And both of us have young children, yes? All three of us have young children. We know that the kids will go to school. And we know there are people with education insurance plan. Education, supposedly it's just an endowment plan. Right? They don't know whether if that money matures, they know it's haram. But they don't know whether they need that money to send the kids to school. That one, to me, is also Darura and Tadarruj. Because if, say, tomorrow the child going to university and the plan mature tomorrow, I need that money to pay the school fees. I got no choice. Haram or not, I cannot replace that money. By all means, use. Right?
What about whole life plans? You know, they always have a certain cash value or a savings plan, that kind of thing. Do they, let's say the someone actually buys it for insurance purposes and they realize that, oh, you know, you should have gone for term plan instead. If he surrenders the money that comes with it, can he only take up to the premium amount he actually put in? Or everything has to be purified?
Short answer, the premium that's put in. You're allowed to take back your initial capital. And I mean, let's face it, how many of you out there, your parents bought for you an insurance plan when you were a child and now you're an adult, you take over and you continue paying? I still have one. I'll be upfront, I still have one. Is it compliant? No, it's not. But I am very clear how much has been paid. And when I surrender the plan, I will take back whatever has been paid. The excess, I will purify, inshallah. But am I still paying for it? Yes. Will it ever mature? Whole life plan don't mature until you turn 75 or 90, if I'm not mistaken. So leave it, let it run first. And then at the point where I need the money, I will look. When the plan mature or when I surrender, do I need the money? If I do not need the money, I can purify. If I need the money, I hold on to it, I use. If I'm not sure, I use the principle of tadarruj, I hold on to it. But here's the whole thing, guys. Niat, bro, niat. The intention must be clear. Because ultimately, whatever we can tell our listeners, we tell our clients, our friends, is their niat. We cannot control. I cannot tell you, oh, benda ni haram, benda ni halal. I can only advise you. If you think that Darura, you need the money, you need the money. It is not my place to tell you, you don't need the money. Because I don't want to tanggung that, oh, I tell him to purify and then he goes into hardship, aku dosa. Nope. It's very individual. Apa dia kata? Kubur sendiri. So yes. So we've covered what is purification, what are the products you need to purify, how much you can take back. I already covered Darura and Tadarruj. What else have I not covered?
Where?
Where? Where to purify? There are three very handsome gentlemen I know of who'll be very happy to take your money. No. Okay. Same thing with zakat, same thing with purification. You cannot use that money to benefit yourself or your immediate family. Settle. So if I say I got $10,000 to purify, never mind, I give to my son. Oh, never mind. I pay for the family expenses. Does it benefit me?
Yeah.
Cannot, haram. You can give it to a mosque. Go to a masjid, I nak donate. Buat apa ni? Oh, donate je. No need to tell people. No need to tell people what you're doing. No need to say, ni, aku nak purify sebab aku Muslim yang bagus, yang baik. No need. Folks, remember, you don't have to let your left hand know what your right hand does. Right? You want to do anonymous donation, can. You just want to donate, I want to donate. Yeah. You can give it to a mosque. You can put it to a wakaf if you want. You still benefit, you still get some pahala. right? You want to give it away. I have a client, the money was quite a large sum, 5 digits, high 5 digits, that he needed to purify. And he asked me, is it okay if I give to my sister? That means he gives to his sister, and he says his sister is low income. Can I give it to her? Can. Doesn't benefit you. It helps your sister. Good. And so he did. And we set it up for him. We set it up for the sister so that this money is now invested for the sister and it will continue on for long term. So you can absolutely just donate it away to somebody you know. Best, of course, is to give to somebody else that doesn't benefit you. That one is quite clear. Same with Zakat, same with Purification. Where else can you give? Can you give overseas? So many places can. There are orphans out there. There are projects that build, what do you call that, wells.
Yeah.
As much as we joke, give it to us, please don't give it to us. We'll tell you where to give it. I won't say no, but between the three of us, we touch our heart. Are we really in the... Let's talk about the 8 asnaf for Zakat for a bit. Are we really in the 8 asnaf for Zakat to receive?
Not yet lah. One day if I become musafir that kind or fisabilillah.
It's not musafir, it's fisabilillah. It's not just a traveler. It is a stranded traveler, bro. Oh, make it JB. Yeah, I'm a traveler. I get Zakat. No.
The day tengok Asri jual rumah duduk pitch tent kat Changi ni kasi.
But yes, folks. So purification, you can absolutely give to any charitable organization. In my personal opinion, that's best. That is best. You can just give. If you know that there are relatives in need or people in need, you want to give them, please, by all means, give them. Treat it as a donation. You don't even have to tell them why you're doing it. It's just within your heart. It is your intention. Ultimately, on the day of judgment, we are questioned. Right? And we just answer that question with a clear conscience, inshallah. And that's that for purification. It's one of the simplest things to do. If any of you have non-halal, non-Shariah compliant, haram assets and investments, and you feel that you want to purify, take that excess profits, because you're allowed to take back whatever you initially invested, take those excess profits, go and give it away. Of course, apply the principles of Darura and apply the principle of Tadarruj. And if you need help, just talk to any of us. We'll be more than happy to guide you along this way, inshallah. My name is Afiq from Modern Muslim Finance. These are my 2 brothers. Guys, what are your last words for today's episode?
Maybe
I
one
think at
day.
the end of the day, if... Oh, want to go?
Go.
I think at the end of the day, after hearing all this, don't be like one of our clients where everything all haram. The next day, all surrender everything. Come and talk to us first, and we can help you sort out the importance, which is before you surrender everything, which after hearing this podcast.
Yep. Good. I mean, adding to that, it's always best to just get a second opinion. Even if you think your investments or your financial plan, basically, all halal, just maybe you can get in touch with anyone who is a Islamic wealth advisor to actually give you your second opinion. It never hurts to hear from a different perspective, I would say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's bloody powerful. I love it. Absolutely. So for all our listeners and viewers, not sure, ask. Don't be shy. Right? We are just advisors and we'll tell you what to do, what our opinion are. Ultimately, the decision is yours. Because to end today's episode, kubo sendiri, bro. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We'll see you at the next episode. Take care.
Waalaikumsalam.